It's time to pick a side. The border war is on the air with BG and TanMan. All right, true believers, welcome into episode 79 of the Border War. This is BG. I'm here with TanMan.
Hi.
This is our college football wrap-up for the week. We're going to talk about South Carolina's win at Ole Miss. Another pretty close loss for the Tar Heels against the Yellow Jackets of Georgia Tech. We will talk about the nail-biter in Death Valley over in Clemson, South Carolina the other day. And we're going to get a little bit more into some college playoff contenders. I don't think anybody's going to be surprised. There's going to be a few shakeups in that this week. Obviously, LSU is probably gone, as they should be.
Yeah.
It really is just about the top two teams. Everything else is just fodder.
I think
we'll do our picks.
I think last week we talked a little bit about what we thought the first rankings would look like.
And I believe I nailed it.
Well, I was going to say, I hit the nail on the head, too. I was just a week behind because...
Right.
But anyway, we'll look around.
I don't think you had LSU in there at all, did you?
No, I would have had them just outside the top five.
And you were right.
I think they did that on purpose.
Sure.
That's
TV ratings, man.
That's TV ratings. So we'll start there. Alabama at the top. Just absolutely shellacked LSU down in Death Valley.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what people need to understand about that score.
Saw that one coming.
And I can't tell you the number of people in just face-to-face conversations I had ask me, You really think Alabama's going to dominate? Yes.
Oh, gosh, yes.
Because Joe Burrow, for all he is, isn't going to beat Alabama with his arm. And I knew Alabama could shut the run game down, and that's it. That's the end of that, right? I mean, I thought LSU's defense, I mean, they hung in there. But it felt like they were on the field for everything but about 8 minutes in the first half. Alabama, of course, struggled a little bit right out of the gate, but to have that score, and it could have been 34-0 pretty easily in that atmosphere at night. You just got to hand it to Alabama. Nothing against LSU's got a good team.
Listen, LSU is a good football team. They're a good football program. You know how many points they've scored against Alabama in the last 10 quarters?
0
points. This is back-to-back shutouts now in Death Valley for Alabama.
Zereaux.
2016, shutout. 2018, shutout. Alabama is on a completely different level. The team that I thought looked the best this weekend out of those top contenders, did you catch any of the Michigan-Penn State game? They brought the hammer to the Nittany Lions.
And that's something that they have not done under Jim Harbaugh. They haven't shown up for a big game like that and had that happen. And Chase McSorley, I mean, that's a very good football team. They were on the outside of a national championship contenders conversation in the preseason. Wow.
Listen, they were a garbage time touchdown away from getting shut out at the big house.
At night.
I tried to stay away from Michigan early in the year. I did argue a couple weeks ago with a family member. He tried to tell me about Michigan. He's pumping Michigan's horn. I'm like, look, they're going to have to beat somebody for me to believe it.
They did,
and they beat them pretty handily. So I think Michigan is looking strong. And with whatever's going on at Ohio State up there right now, uninspiring wins against Indiana, Minnesota, and then this past weekend they beat a Nebraska team that's starting to find themselves a little bit, playing a lot better. They beat Nebraska by 5.
Yeah.
Something's happening in Ohio State. I don't think it's good.
It's probably chest pain time.
He's already complained of headaches, and there are rumors swirling around that when all that stuff was going on with his coach, that Urban Meyer was going to resign at the end of the year. I think all Michigan needs to go in there and pound Ohio State at the end of the year and send him packing.
Does that feel ready to happen for finally?
I can.
That feels like
bubbling.
That feels like a baseball sitting on a tee right now, and Harbaugh's just warming the bat up. I mean, that feels like that's on its way.
Yeah, and of course, in the back to the SEC, you had Georgia going to Kentucky. not, again, if you didn't see that one coming, I feel really sorry for you.
I mean, it blows my mind. And I mean, the thing is that
whatever. I don't even have the final score of that thing in front of me. Georgia could have put up another 2 touchdowns on that thing.
Mark Stoops is probably still going to get signed to a long-term contract,
and he should.
And he should. He should. But this is a Kentucky team. I have felt like this as a South Carolina fan before. That it feels like they're up against their ceiling. They're loaded with seniors. This is probably as good as Kentucky football gets.
Well, look, they're at 7 wins now. They're gonna beat Louisville at the win. So that's a guaranteed 8. Get a couple more wins, maybe get a bowl win. When was the last time you had Kentucky winning 10 games?
I think it was it 2007 they were ranked in the top 5 early on for a while. I mean, it's been a while. It's been a while.
It's been a while. And finally, of those contenders right at the top, we'll hit up real quick the Clemson Tigers. And I guess we'll start off our box right there. What was the final? They hung 77. On that is absolutely absurd.
Yeah, I mean,
it's absurd.
And I don't know. I saw a lot of Clemson fans kind of, I guess it was a beatdown when Alabama beat them, and now we're just talking about how Louisville's no good. And I'm like, but that was the first game of the season. Look, everybody thought Louisville was going to be okay. People didn't realize they were terrible week 1.
Look, I've got my theory on what happened down in Death Valley, the other Death Valley, Saturday afternoon. I think that they're looking at this, and exactly what you said. Alabama beat them. They hung 55 or 56 on them. And Clemson, I think, is trying to now overcompensate from that. When you look in the last couple of weeks.
It started with Wake Forest.
It started with Wake Forest. In the last few weeks, it's just carried on, that they're now, everyone jumps on them about their schedule. They don't play anybody. I think now they're overcompensating.
Because really, Dabo's reputation up till 3 weeks ago was that he took it easy on teams like that. He never ran people into the ground. They're running up the score on people now, and they're being really obvious about it.
Okay, I told somebody today, and everybody wants to jump on Clemson. Well, they're in the ACC. That's not their fault. Okay, Clemson.
No, you can't blame them for that.
You can't blame them for that. Clemson is one of the top 2, 3, 4 teams, however you want to shut it, or however you want to cut it, teams in the country. But their schedule in the ACC, it's not their fault, but they're playing one long game of whack-a-mole.
Yeah.
All these ACC teams pop their head up, and Clemson bops them on the head, and they go away, and then they go to the next one and bop that one on the head. There's nothing that they can do from this point, from now until they hit the playoff. There is absolutely no number they can hang. There's no number that they can beat somebody by that's going to make me go, wow.
But the good news is, I mean, I don't know.
I mean, they're going to wind up playing Pittsburgh in the ACC title game.
They're cemented in at the number 2 spot. It doesn't matter. You're in. Chill.
Yeah, but no, I mean, like I said, it's nothing against them, but there's, like I said, there's nothing they can do. They cannot beat anybody by any amount of points. It's going to make me suddenly change my thought on them.
I've never seen a more successful football program that is still so easily triggered and defensive than Clemson football. Because, I mean, they could win that game 77-0, and you tweet one thing about, your tailback's shoe was untied the whole game, and they will come back immediately with 18 other examples of when other people's shoes were untied. They've always been like that since I was a little kid. Yeah. They've always been like that.
So the playoff rankings, they'll come out again tomorrow. I guess it'll be every Tuesday, I imagine.
Yeah.
To me, the AP top 25, that's what they'll look like. I think Georgia will be just on the outside looking in, and they are going to get their opportunity in the SEC title game. If they win the title game, they're going to get in. I guess my question would be, if everything held form, Michigan wins the Big Ten, Notre Dame runs the table, Clemson obviously is going to run the table. If Georgia were to beat Alabama, we have spent literally all year long talking about how Alabama is head and shoulders above everybody in the field.
And people have kind of moved on from Georgia in their heads anyway.
if Georgia steals that upset, which is quite possible, who falls out?
Well,
I'm putting you on the spot. Who falls out?
Right now, so my prediction for tomorrow night will be Bama at 1, Clemson 2, Notre Dame 3, Michigan 4.
I agree.
I think in that scenario, Michigan falls out.
A Big Ten champion, 8-1. The only loss is to Notre Dame.
Yeah,
that means you've just gone through. You've gotten the Ohio State monkey off your back.
Because I think that Ohio State win's not going to be what it would have been had Ohio State, if they had both gone into that game undefeated. I'm
not saying you're wrong. I'm just curious what you think.
I don't think Alabama's going to think it gets left out, and then you can't leave Georgia out. So yes, Michigan gets left out.
Could you imagine the
no
anti-SEC? Oh my goodness, man! The Twitter will break.
Yeah,
the internet will break if they leave out a Big Ten champion, a deserving Big Ten champion like that at Michigan. Oh my God! I can't even wrap my head around that one.
Yeah,
that'd be a mess.
It definitely would be, and that's you've got more conferences than you have playoff spots, and that's where we are. That's what they wanted.
Well, I was going to say that's what they thought they wanted. They will somehow find a way to get you an 18 playoff before January, if that's the case.
Could be. I'm in favor. More football, man.
Huh?
More football.
Actually, it'd be the same amount of football.
Because you'd have a bye. You'd have bye game. You'd have byes for the first two teams. So, yeah, I guess you're right.
Not if you went to 8.
That's what I just said. More football is 8. 8 is more football.
It's the same amount of football because all those teams are going to be playing anyway. There's too much pause. We got to move on. There's too many pauses here. We're starting to sound
I'm
starting to sound like a local morning show with all the quiet time. Talk about disaster.
I'm just not in the mood to talk today.
Talking about disaster. Speaking of potential disaster was averted in Oxford, Mississippi on Saturday. The Gamecocks squeaked one out. I thought it was they finally get over the hump. They finally get over these slow starts. Mm-hmm. I'm in the car. I've got it on the radio, and I hear 17-3. I'm like, oh, all right, well, look at them down there.
Yeah.
And then
if you had been watching the game, though, you would have known that it was coming back because
almost immediately the thing swung back the other way.
Look, here's the thing. One, I knew this game was going to be really close, okay? And we both went with Ole Miss in the point spread.
We did.
As soon as Debo ran back the opening touchdown, I told my boys who were watching the game with me, I said, we just won the game. That's it. That's the end of the game. Because I knew they couldn't spot us 7 points. And that was the end of the game. Now,
I mean, not really.
No, because there have been games when I remember a game in about 2005 where we threw a pick six in Knoxville on the first play of the game, and we lost by 4 points. And I said the same thing then. We just lost. That's it. It doesn't matter that you don't think I was right. I was.
No,
Yes.
No.
So you're telling me if we take 7 points off our score, we don't lose?
We
can do this all day.
To go because you're an idiot.
Go ahead,
You're
man.
an idiot.
I know what that says. When you take 7 points off.
But you go, oh, okay. Well, we returned the kickoff. Well, let's just pack up and go home.
I didn't even watch the rest of it.
I knew
it was
pack
over.
up and go home. It's over.
Well,
if you score the first basket in a basketball game, is that it?
It's not the same thing.
Just go on.
That's a false equivalency.
If you win by 2 points and you score the first basket, we can
if you win by
You're
2, then that was the
You're an idiot. Moving on. You were down 10 points in the fourth quarter.
It's a good thing we had that opening touchdown then, huh?
Shut up. I'm getting ready to hit the button and go home. You're pissing me off. But, give me your thoughts. Kickoff aside on how you thought you guys played. Because that's a big number. 44 is a big number to give up, too, though.
Well, I'm going to talk about that. And I'm going to sound like I've got my garnet glasses on, but I do have a little bit of a theory. Okay, so I think that the offense played great. Okay, Shi Smith dropped one really critical pass late third quarter, early fourth quarter. I don't remember exactly when. And if he had caught it, it would have been about a 45-yard gain. And I think we were up by 3 at that point. I think that really would have been the end of the game. I think we would have put it away. probably would have at least been a field goal. Can we give a little shout out to Parker White, who had an awful season last year? He's been top 3 kicker in the country this year. Parker White, big improvement there. So the offense, for the most part, looked great, minus the awful field conditions down there that took half our team out. We were down to our 4th-string running back. Muschamp said after the game, this is the first time in his entire coaching career he's had to have 4 true freshmen as his defensive backfield because no one else could stand up. We lost that many guys, 2 of them out for the season.
I missed it. I could have sworn they had artificial turf down there.
No.
No?
No. They had a pothole-ridden nightmare.
So I had to listen to it on the radio.
Jam Williams, Javon Charleston, both out for the season now.
Wow.
Well, the good news is, aside from those young men's unfortunate luck and the pain they're going through, it doesn't matter. And I'm going to get to that too. But here's what I think happened defensively. I think Muschamp and Travaris Robinson met. They looked at our defense and our speed and said, look, we can pressure these guys, but if we do, we're going to give up big plays. Let's just, if our offense is humming, right, because Ole Miss's defense is terrible, I think the game plan was to end up with a score kind of like what you've got. And I think they basically said, look, let's give them yardage. Let's give them points. Let's just make it take time. Because if you watch the game, man, there were 3rd and 6s, 3rd and 7s, where our cornerbacks are playing 15 yards off the receiver consistently. It will drive you crazy, but we gave up 1 play of over 30 yards the entire game. And then in the 4th quarter, when it really looked like we had to have a stop and couldn't give up points, Muschamp switches up the play, plays man-to-man, starts blitzing, and Ole Miss had 16 yards of offense in the 4th quarter. So while the defensive performance was less than stellar, I don't think our defense is very stellar, especially at linebacker and safety. I think he was really worried about them scoring over the top and devised a defense to give them a lot of points, but not enough to beat us.
Yeah.
And I've heard him say that before. And plus, I think he also has a lot of faith in our defense once teams get into the red zone. I think they had 6 trips and kicked field goals on 4 of them. That kind of thing, those add up.
Well, look, if that's the case and that's what they devised, the score itself doesn't shock me. I kind of felt like it was going to be a shootout. Maybe not up into the mid-40s, almost 50. I was kind of figuring somewhere around 35, 31 or something like that. So while the numbers are big, I expected a shootout Saturday. But if that's the case, then give Muschamp credit for knowing his team and knowing what they were capable of.
Well, I think he knew there was nothing we could do defensively to stop them, and that if we tried to pressure the quarterback, a lot of times, TanMan, we were literally rushing 2 guys.
Yeah.
And just sitting back, giving them the underneath tackle. Give them the underneath tackle. And no, I don't think the intention was to give up 44 points, but I think he felt good about our offense being able to score and sort of changing it up as it went along. Yeah. And like I said, when we needed to not give up any points at all, then that's what we did.
Okay. But you guys are sitting at 5-3. You're 4-3 in the conference.
Doesn't this season feel like it's really just about the bowl game now?
2 weeks ago, we'll get into this on our picks list, but 2 weeks ago, Florida looked like they were getting ready to turn a corner. Now they look like a hot mess.
Apparently, Felipe Frank's almost beaten up in his own locker room, and he's been listed as the starter already. Today.
Okay.
Dan Mullen.
You guys.
I still think they beat us.
To get to 6 wins, 7 after you beat Chattanooga, you'd be 5-3 in the conference. They just added Akron. I don't know if you saw it. Added Akron to play. So the potential was out there to hit a nice number.
It feels like that you got 2 losses coming up, 2 wins coming up, and the bowl game.
A bowl game, potentially, like I said, potentially a win.
Which is why I don't think the injuries are huge. I hate it for those guys, but you probably aren't going to beat Florida. You definitely aren't going to beat Clemson. You're going to beat the other 2 guys, and then you're talking about a game in January.
I think I saw some bowl predictions today. I think one had you guys playing Oklahoma State in the Liberty Bowl.
Seems possible.
I think one was Purdue in the Gator Bowl or
I have
whatever.
a hard time thinking we don't go to Florida.
Yeah,
if we're not in the Outback Bowl, I'll be sort of surprised because that's just where we go.
Please don't go to the Outback Bowl.
No kidding.
Again.
No kidding.
Damn, man.
Ugh.
Just go somewhere else. I wish we could go to a bowl game.
Not happening. Another heartbreaker.
Another heartbreaker for North Carolina. At this point, like I said, if you listened at all to episode 78, you heard me make the comparison with Nathan Peterman of the Bills to Nathan Elliott for North Carolina. Your boy finally got some playing time Saturday. Jace Rutter, they finally put him in.
I've been wanting to see him. I need to go find that film because
I think he led a touchdown drive and a field goal drive, and then he too suffered the same fate that every quarterback that's tried to take over for Nathan Elliott has suffered. He is now done. And so now our backup quarterbacks are Anthony Ratliff-Williams, the wide receiver, and somebody else. So apparently we are going
it's just meant to be.
Apparently we are going to ride Nathan Elliott until the wheels fall off, if they haven't already. Real quick, because like I said, I'm not going to spend a lot of time breaking down a 2-7 football team, but I'll say this: we brought it up a couple weeks ago about how after the Miami game, it looked like this team was totally checked out.
Same thing last year. This happened last year.
Yeah, but last year I felt like they stayed engaged. After that Miami game, they looked done. Like everybody was just tired and ready to quit. The last 3 weeks,
no, they've been right there.
The last 3 weeks, Virginia Tech, and a couple weeks ago on a Thursday night, Saturday against Georgia Tech. These were winnable ball games. I think we've lost in between. Virginia was 10. This was 10. I saw an interesting article from Lee Pace, I think it was, from GoHeels.com today, where he talked about just the emotion on the sideline after the game. That some of the guys were showing. These guys still care. They're still fighting.
And that's good.
I tip my cap to them. They're still hanging in there. I still believe that at some point before the year is out, I'd like to believe anyway that they're going to beat somebody.
This felt like the week they needed.
This felt like the week that they needed to do it.
And we both thought they would.
But like I said, we tip our cap to them. They
to me, the fact that they're playing this hard, it sounds crazy because it's 2018 and we don't do this anymore. If I was the AD at North Carolina, I'd give Fedora one more year. And I would tell him he had one more year, and that was it. But I'm telling you, go back and look at Mark Stoops' record in Kentucky.
I know.
There are so many places that would have fired him. And I'm not saying that what's going to go on, because they're going to go back to being a 7-win team probably next year. But we do this all the time, and if you look at places like that, I mean, it takes North Carolina football is not deeply entrenched it's not what it was 10 years ago.
I'll say this:
he needs to recruit better, though.
He you know what he needs? He needs Kelly Bryant to quit dilly-dallying around and just come on, because that's what we really. I mean, that's what we're missing. We're missing a functioning quarterback. That's it. We would be a bowl team right now if we had a quarterback. I have never seen a team go through so many quarterback changes.
Yeah,
and like every one of them gets hurt. So if Larry Fedora gets another year, that's why. You couple the large buyout that we've talked about along with
that doesn't hurt.
That large number there along with the fact that literally everyone that he has tried to play at quarterback, other than the one guy who no one wants at quarterback, is getting hurt. I've never seen anything like it. So if he gets another year, that'll be why. I agree with you. I think at this point, a lot of this stuff is not in this hard. A lot of this stuff is not in his control, though.
Yeah,
I mean he's making changes. He's doing stuff, and when guys get hurt, they get hurt. There's nothing you can do.
Just jumping back to South Carolina real quick, and I don't have the stat in front of me, but I did see, and I think it's just at South Carolina in his third season, Muschamp in one-score games at South Carolina, and I'm wanting to say it was 15-3. These are the kind of games that what that makes me like is that, like I said, changing up the defense at the right moment, managing the clock. Not Les Miles, who is your next head coach.
That's what I want.
Yeah,
if we're going to move on from Fedora, bring on the Mad Hatter.
Whatever happens with Les Miles, though, you will not be 15-3 in one-score games because you will run out of timeouts, and
I don't care. At least it'll be interesting to
Right.
watch.
You will be interesting to watch. How does the grass taste in Chapel Hill?
I don't know.
Never had any.
Never had any.
All right, let's get on with it.
We'll make our college picks because they're going to shut the lights off in the studio on us very soon, I would imagine. The first one on the slate for this week, the 10th ranked Buckeyes traveling to East Lansing. The Michigan State Spartans are getting 4 points. BG, this one feels like Ohio State's just kind of treading water.
It does.
Yeah, they're just kind of hanging on. I think I'm going to go with Michigan State in the 4 points. I don't know if they get the win, but Ohio State at this point is not really showing me that they're interested in blowing anybody out. So give me the Spartans in the points.
I agree. Ohio State looks flat and uninterested.
Next on the list, at noon, the Gamecocks going down to Florida. The Gators giving up a touchdown. Is Felipe Franks the quarterback? Is he not? Is he going to get beat up? Is someone going to step in and protect him in his own locker room? Who knows? I don't know what's going on down there in Gainesville right now.
I'm going to take the Gamecocks to cover. I don't know if they win the game, but I think they keep it close.
You just said they weren't going to win the game. You just said they were going to lose like 10 minutes ago.
Well, I haven't seen the opening kickoff yet, have I?
Oh, well, the opening kickoff. And then
Okay, let me ask you a question. Did you guys run your opening kickoff back?
I don't know. I didn't.
You
watch,
did not,
and you
lost.
told you I didn't see the game. I was in the
you
car.
lost. We did, and we won.
So
There you
anyone
are.
anyone that runs opening kickoff back wins the game.
If it's supposed to be a close game, yeah.
You're an idiot.
You should.
I'm going South Carolina. I think South Carolina's going to win the game. 2 weeks ago, I would have taken Florida. They looked like I said, they were going to turn a corner, and I don't know. It's like Georgia just snuffed the life out of them in the second half of that ball game. Give me South Carolina. They're going to go down and win.
There's a bigger issue here. We don't have time to talk about it, but this stuff goes on in Florida, and it's happened under multiple head coaches now. Everybody down there will tell you that all they didn't like about Will Muschamp was that he didn't win enough games, but that he did clean up the locker room. And now it seems like
Muschamp's problem was that he couldn't find a quarterback.
Couldn't find a quarterback. Yes.
Dan Mullen didn't bring in Felipe. He was given Franks.
No, I'm saying
give Mullen a chance.
You've
to
never
take
heard
his own.
that Mullen has a problem with locker rooms either, so it could very well be that he cleans it up and finds a quarterback, but it's not this year.
I'd give Mullen time to get his own quarterback in there, and then judge him based on that. Because I'll be honest, if I was in that locker room, I'd probably be tired of watching Felipe Franks too.
Yeah,
I mean he's not good.
Not good.
At 12:20, the Tar Heels trying to salvage something out of a season. They're going to Duke. Duke giving North Carolina 10.5 points. Excuse me. I'm going to take the Tar Heels in the points. I don't know if they win, but I'll take 10.5 points.
That's too big of a spread in a rivalry game. Neither of these. Duke is not that dominant. Okay, so give me the Tar Heels.
3:30, Oklahoma State taking a step back from where they've been the last few years, but they're going to Norman, Oklahoma. The Sooners are in a shootout the other day with Texas Tech. Oklahoma giving up 18 points in this one, BG.
That's too big of a spread for me. I'll go with the Cowboys and the mullet.
I'm going to go Oklahoma.
You love Oklahoma, man.
I'll take Oklahoma. I'll give you.
You were right the last time about how many points they were. What game was that? That was Texas Christian. I thought they would hang in there. They didn't.
Yeah, give me Oklahoma. I'll take the 18 points. I think the Sooners are hanging on to whatever last thread of playoff hopes that they have. I think that they're going to wind up coming down to playing West Virginia twice.
We have to hurry, man. Our producer has entered the room.
Yeah. We're being told to wrap it up, but they're going to get Oklahoma or West Virginia twice to end the season, back-to-back weeks, it looks like. And finally, on the college slate, here's one. Pull the trigger on this one, BG. The Tigers going to the 22nd ranked Boston College Eagles. BC getting 17.5.
I think Clemson,
they are 7-2 against the spread.
This whole thing has been hyped up from the beginning of the season. Clemson beats them by 30 points. This is a joke.
17.5.
This is a joke.
They cover almost every week, man.
They don't play Clemson every week.
The Eagles.
The ACC is a joke.
I agree with you. Whack them on, man. Tigers cover the 17.5. That's it for episode 79. Make sure you play along with us for our picks list. Myriad of ways to get those in. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Like and share our page on Facebook. Tell all your friends. Tired of watching Clemson.